Dear friend, the day has come to an end. You have turned off the lights, set aside your phone, and now you are lying here, the body resting on the bed, the room wrapped in a gentle darkness. Perhaps the house is quiet now. The world outside is still, and yet, inside, the mind may still be moving. A thought arises. I hope I can sleep tonight. And one, then another. How many hours are left until morning? Without meaning to, the mind begins to wander, touching the moments of the day just past, imagining the moments yet to come. Memories surface, plans appear, questions stir. The breath, once deep, may grow a little shallow. The body, though tired, may feel restless. And here you are, awake, watching the night unfold from within. There is nothing wrong with this. It is simply how the mind works, like a river that continues to flow. Even when the world around it becomes still, there is no need to fight this river. No need to chase, sleep, or force the mind into quiet. Instead, you can simply rest here as you are, with this body, with this breath, with this moment. Perhaps you have come to this space hoping to find some ease, some guidance to help you through the night. And I am here with you, a gentle voice, a companion for these quiet hours. Together, we will not try to push the night away or chase after sleep. Instead, we will walk gently through this time, learning how to be with wakefulness as it is, with kindness, with patience, with a tender curiosity. For even here, in the heart of the night, there is a deep peace waiting to be touched, not the peace of perfect silence, nor the peace of a mind emptied of thought, but the peace of presence, the peace of knowing. This moment is enough. Breath by breath, we will explore this together. So let your body rest where it is. Let the breath come and go. Naturally, let the mind do what it will, without resistance. And as we begin this gentle journey, remember, you are not alone. Many are awake with you in this very hour, and in this shared stillness, we will walk together one breath, one moment at a time. Welcome. Dear friend, let us begin. You turn off the lights. The room falls into a quiet that is almost too quiet. And there you are, lying in bed, staring at the ceiling, or perhaps with your eyes closed, yet fully aware of every sound, every sensation, every fleeting thought. It always begins the same way. A glance at the clock, a quick calculation. If I fall asleep now, I'll still get 5 hours. Not bad. Oh, then another thought follows, and another, until suddenly the arithmetic dissolves into a strange parade of memories, plans, and questions. Why did I say that thing at dinner? Should I have invested more for retirement? Is this ache in my back something serious? Did I lock the front door? Before long, sleep feels like a distant land, one whose borders you cannot seem to cross tonight. And so the night unfolds, not as rest, but as a curious theater of the mind. It's funny, isn't it? We spend our days moving through life doing, planning, striving, believing that surely, when the night comes, we will be able to let go. And yet, when the body is weary and the world finally quiets down, that is when the mind often awakens, a strange awakening. Though, not the awakening spoken of in old Zen stories, not the radiant clarity of insight, but the other kind, the restless awakening of overthinking, of searching, of an unquiet heart. You are not alone in this. Tonight, all around the world, in millions of bedrooms, people lie awake, just like you, caught in this dance between wanting to rest and being unable to surrender. Perhaps some are young and full of dreams, their minds racing with ambitions. Perhaps some are older, weighed by regrets or anxieties about health, about loved ones, about a life that has unfolded in unexpected ways. Perhaps some, like you, are simply wondering, why can't I sleep? Why can't I stop thinking? It is in these quiet, restless hours that one begins to encounter the deeper layers of the mind, the parts that are usually drowned out by the noise of the day. Now, with the phone set aside and no meetings to attend, no tasks to complete, the mind reveals its old habits, the stories it loves to replay, the worries it cannot seem to release, the desires it still clings to, sometimes without your even noticing. In Zen, there is a saying, the greatest illusion is believing that the mind's stories are real. You see, the mind is not your enemy. It is simply the mind. It thinks that is its nature. Just as the heart beats and the lungs breathe, the mind produces thoughts. And tonight, as you lie here, it is doing what it knows best, trying to solve problems, trying to plan for what it cannot control, trying to make sense of what is ultimately mysterious life itself. There is a paradox here. The more you wish to sleep, the more elusive it becomes. The more you resist the wakefulness, the more tense your body grows. You may already have noticed this. I must fall asleep now. Suddenly, the heart beats faster, the breath shallows, the body stiffens, sleep slips further away. But when you gently say, it's okay to be awake, something begins to soften. In the old Zen stories, monks would often sit through long nights under the stars, not to achieve anything, not even to become enlightened, but simply to be fully present with whatever arose, with the chill of the air, the sounds of night creatures, the aching of tired legs, the wandering of the mind. They learned to sit not against wakefulness, but with it. What if, tonight, you too could approach this wakefulness in the same way, not as a problem, not as a failure of your body or your will, but simply as an experience, one breath after another, one moment at a time. There is a gentle teaching in Buddhism called radical acceptance, and it is the art of saying, this too is part of life. This too belongs. Even insomnia, even this restless mind, even this moment of being awake when the world around you sleeps. And in that spirit, dear friend, as you lie here, perhaps you might shift the question from, why can't I sleep, to, what is it like to be awake? Right now, what sensations do you feel in your body? What sounds drift through the window? What thoughts are visiting the mind tonight? Notice them. Welcome them. Even you do not need to chase them away, for there is a deeper truth. You are not these thoughts. You are the awareness noticing them. Just as clouds move across the sky, so too do thoughts drift through the mind. And beneath the clouds, the vast sky remains open, boundless, untouched. You, my friend, are that sky. No thought can stain you. No sleepless night can diminish your true nature. So let us begin this journey together. Not a journey to force sleep. No, that is not our path, but a journey into presence, into being, into discovering the peace that can be found even in the heart of wakefulness. Breathe gently now. Feel the body resting upon the bed. Allow this moment to be exactly as it is. And as we walk together through these hours, perhaps you will find as countless seekers before you have that sometimes it is in the darkest hours of the night that the first glimmers of true awakening appear. There is a peculiar creature that lives within every human mind, restless, agile, curious, impossible to still for long. The Buddhists, with a twinkle in their eye, gave it a name, monkey mind. A perfect metaphor, for like a monkey leaping from branch to branch, your mind too hops from one thought to the next, barely touching one before swinging wildly toward another. And tonight, as you lie in the quiet of your room, can you feel its movements? One moment, it remembers that email you forgot to send. Next, it worries about the rising cost of healthcare. Then, without warning, it replays a conversation from 5 years ago. Why did you say that? Before careening into thoughts of whether you locked the front door tonight. And just when you think it might settle, a new branch appears. I really must sleep soon. End quote. The monkey grabs hold, and the chase continues. Now, it is important to understand, the monkey is not malicious. It is not trying to torment you. It is simply what it is, energetic, inquisitive, insatiably drawn to novelty. For most of human history, this quality served us well. It kept our ancestors alert to dangers, constantly scanning for threats and opportunities. It helped us remember, plan, anticipate. But in this modern world, especially at 2 o'clock a.m., in a comfortable bed, the same instinct can become a source of deep restlessness. You may notice something curious. This monkey mind is especially active when the body is still. During the day, you are in motion, doing, achieving, distracted by tasks and interactions. The mind's leaps are masked by the flow of activity. But at night, when the body finally rests, the monkey finds itself unsupervised in an empty playground. No external stimuli, no busy tasks, just the vast, silent canvas of the night. And so it begins to leap, not out of ill will, but out of sheer habit. In Zen practice, monks sometimes describe this as the momentum of the mind. You see, even when the body slows, the mind's habitual momentum continues. It does not know how to stop on its own. And here lies a paradox. The harder you try to force it to stop, the more energy you give it. I must clear my mind. I must think of nothing. I must sleep. These very thoughts become more branches for the monkey to swing upon. Consider this. Have you ever tried to calm a child by sternly commanding them to relax? It rarely works. The child senses the tension in your voice and grows more agitated. The same is true for the mind. It does not respond well to force. Instead, a wiser approach is to befriend the monkey, to watch it with gentle curiosity, to let it leap without chasing after every swing. Right now, you might try this. As a thought arises perhaps about tomorrow's responsibilities, instead of following it, simply notice, a thought about tomorrow. Oh, let it pass. Another thought arrives perhaps about something left undone. You smile inwardly. A thought about the past. Let it pass. In this way, you shift from being inside the monkey's restless dance to being the observer of it. You are no longer the monkey. You are the vast sky through which these thoughts move, clouds drifting, appearing and dissolving. Alan Watts once remarked, "The mind is like the surface of a pond, disturbed, and ripples appear. But if you do not stir it, clarity comes on its own. But this clarity cannot be forced. It emerges when we cease struggling. There is an old Zen story. A student came to the master and said, "My mind is restless. How can I calm it?" The master replied, "It is as if you are trying to smooth the surface of water with your hand. The more you try, the more ripples you create. Instead, let it be. With time, the water settles of its own accord." Of rent, tonight, lying here, this same truth applies. You do not need to fix your monkey mind. You do not need to chase it, scold it, or silence it. You need only notice it. Gently, kindly, patiently, and something beautiful happens when you do. The monkey, feeling seen but not judged, begins to settle. Its leaps grow softer. Its energy shifts, not because you commanded it, but because you created space for it to simply be in Zen. This is the art of non-striving. It is not laziness, nor passivity. It is a wise understanding that certain things, like the settling of the mind, unfold naturally when we stop interfering. Just as you cannot force a flower to bloom, nor rush a sunset, so too can you not coerce your mind into stillness, but you can create the conditions for it. So tonight, rather than battling wakefulness, rather than wrestling with the monkey, perhaps you might try this gentler path. Simply be the sky. Let the monkey play. Watch its leaps with a knowing smile. And in this watching, in this gentle awareness, a deeper stillness may begin to emerge. And if it does not, that is fine too. For even in wakefulness, even with a restless mind, you are practicing something far more profound than sleep. You are practicing presence. You are cultivating wisdom. You are learning the art of being with what is. In time, as the ancient masters discovered, this art transforms not only sleepless nights, but life itself. For the same monkey mind that leaps tonight is the one that leaps during your days. And learning to befriend it now is a gift you will carry always. So breathe, notice, let go of striving. The monkey will swing, the thoughts will come and go, and beneath it all, you remain, vast, still, awake, lying here, in the quiet that stretches between midnight and dawn. The mind begins to ask deeper questions, not always in words. Sometimes it is just a feeling beneath the surface, a kind of ache, or longing, or vague dissatisfaction that cannot be named. You might have felt it tonight, the sense that something is unsettled, that no matter how much you try to calm yourself, or distract yourself, a subtle restlessness remains. This is not unique to you. Dear friend, it is something the Buddha himself observed long ago. In fact, it was this very observation, this noticing of the unsatisfactory nature of ordinary life that set him on his path. The story goes that he too, once a prince surrounded by every comfort, began to feel this quiet discontent, not because life was terrible. On the contrary, life was quite good, and yet something was missing. Something did not sit right within the heart. Perhaps tonight you are feeling the same, and though your situation is different, you are not a prince in a palace. The human mind remains remarkably unchanged across centuries. Sleepless in the night, you touch the same mystery that Buddha once touched. Why do we suffer, even when outwardly life is fine? In his search for answers, the Buddha eventually articulated what came to be known as the Four Noble Truths. You need not memorize them. They are not commandments, not rigid beliefs. They are simply observations about life, observations that may resonate with your own experience tonight. The first is this: life involves a measure of suffering, not just the obvious kind: illness, aging, loss, but also the subtle forms: restlessness, dissatisfaction, that background hum of not quite right that arises even on an ordinary night, like now, lying here, unable to sleep, sensing that gap between how things are and how you wish they were. This is dukkha, the friction of being human. The second observation is that this suffering arises from craving, from attachment, from wanting things to be other than they are, wanting the mind to be still when it is restless, wanting sleep to come when it will not, wanting certainty in an uncertain life. Notice how tonight's discomfort intensifies when you think, "I should be asleep by now," or "I must quiet my mind." That very resistance is what tightens the knot of suffering. The third truth is both surprising and hopeful. Suffering can cease, not because life becomes perfect, but because our relationship to it can change. When we stop clinging, stop demanding that the moment be different, something begins to loosen. The suffering lessens, even if the external situation, wakefulness, in this case, remains. And the fourth truth points to a path, not a magical cure, but a way of living and seeing that gradually frees the heart. It is called the Eightfold Path, but we need not explore its full structure tonight. What matters now is the spirit of it, a life lived with awareness, with kindness, with wisdom, a mind trained to meet each moment, even the restless ones, with understanding rather than struggle. Perhaps, as you lie here, these truths begin to make a certain intuitive sense. You do not need to believe them. You can simply observe. Is it not true that the more you fight wakefulness, the harder it becomes? And when, even for a moment, you whisper inwardly, "It's okay to be awake," some of the tension eases. This is the subtle art of letting go, not giving up, but releasing the grip of expectation, letting the night be as it is, letting yourself be as you are. In this way, what began as a night of suffering can become a night of insight, a quiet turning of the heart, a recognition suffering is not something wrong with you. It is part of the human condition. And within this very recognition lies the seed of freedom. For when you see clearly, you are no longer trapped. The monkey mind may still leap, the body may still resist sleep, but beneath it all, there grows a spaciousness, an acceptance from which true rest can arise, whether or not the body sleeps. And so, dear friend, as you breathe here in the soft darkness, know this: you are already walking the path, not towards some distant enlightenment, but right here, in this moment of wakefulness, you are learning, as the Buddha did, that peace is not found by changing the world, but by changing how you meet it. Even in the midst of an unquiet night, the first glimmer of freedom lies in this simple shift from resistance to gentle allowing. And that, perhaps, is the most noble truth of all. As the night deepens and the world outside grows quieter still, you may begin to notice something else, a peculiar intimacy with your own mind, with no distractions to pull you outward. The inner theater comes into sharper relief. Thoughts arise, some familiar, some unexpected. Memories drift through, as if summoned by the dark. Worries parade themselves, each vying for your attention. And at some point, perhaps you wonder, who is noticing all of this? That is a very good question, for it is easy, especially in the small hours of the night, to become entangled in the mind's productions, to mistake the content of thought for reality itself. You think, I'm failing because I can't sleep. Oh, you think, tomorrow will be ruined. Oh, you think, I shouldn't be this anxious. Oh, and without noticing, you begin to believe these thoughts, to wear them like heavy garments. But pose. Dear friend, consider this. If you can observe these thoughts, if you can notice them coming and going, then how can they be you? After all, who is doing the noticing? In Buddhist teachings, there is an insight known as non-self anatta. It sounds abstract, but it is actually very simple and very freeing. It points to the understanding that what we usually think of as self, the me, who is lying here awake, is not a solid, unchanging entity. It is a collection of experiences, sensations in the body, thoughts in the mind, feelings, perceptions, memories. These arise and pass, like waves on the surface of the sea. You are not the waves. You are the sea. Right now, notice a thought arises. I'll be too tired to function tomorrow. End of Christmas. In that moment, the thought feels real. It may even trigger physical sensations, a tightening in the chest, a quickening of the heart. But step back, just a little. See it for what it is, a thought, a mental event, not a prophecy, not an ultimate truth. Watch it come, watch it linger, watch it pass. And then another arises. Why can't I stop thinking? Another wave, another cloud drifting through the sky of awareness. And beneath all of this, what remains? The awareness itself, silent, spacious, unmoved. This is who you are. At the deepest level, not the content of consciousness, but the open space in which it all appears. Alan Watts once quipped, "You are under no obligation to believe your own mind." And applause. What a liberating thought. You can listen to the mind. You can be curious about its patterns. But you are not required to believe every story it spins, especially at 3 a.m., when its imagination tends toward melodrama. In fact, the middle of the night is often when the mind is at its most theatrical. Lacking the grounding of daylight activity, it creates elaborate narratives, worst-case scenarios, self-criticisms, unsolvable puzzles. And yet all of this is simply the monkey mind doing what it does. You do not have to fight it, nor must you fix it. You can simply watch. Imagine sitting in a movie theater. The film plays on the screen. Perhaps it is a tense thriller. You feel your heart race, your breath quicken. But then you remember, it's only a movie. You are sitting safely in your seat. The images are light projected on a screen. The mind's thoughts are no different. They are projections conditioned by past experience, a bit, mood. But you, the awareness, remain untouched. You are the one in the seat, watching, not the drama itself. Tonight, as you lie here, this understanding can become more than an idea. It can be a direct experience. With each thought that arises, practice this simple noticing, a thought, not the truth, just a thought. Then, let it pass, like a leaf floating downstream. No need to grab it, no need to push it away. And when another comes, greet it the same way. Another thought. Hello, you may stay, or you may go. I am here, watching. This gentle practice does not require effort. In fact, effort tends to stir the mind further. It is more like relaxing into a deep, inner witnessing, arresting as awareness itself. The thoughts will continue, they always do. The monkey will swing from branch to branch. That is its nature. But now, you are no longer swinging with it. You are the sky through which the monkey moves. Vast, open, at peace. In Zen, there is a saying, thoughts are guests. Let them come. Let them go. You are the host. You need not entertain every guest. Some will arrive noisily. Some will whisper. Some will overstay their welcome. No matter. You can bow to each and let them pass. And in doing so, you may discover a deeper rest than sleep alone can offer, the rest of not being entangled in the endless stories of the mind. So breathe gently, and as thoughts arise, watch them. Smile at them if you like. Remember, they are not you. You are the space in which they appear. And in that space, there is freedom. Even in the heart of this sleepless night, there is peace to be found, not by silencing the mind, but by seeing it clearly and resting in the knowing that you are always more than your thoughts. Perhaps by now, as you lie here, you have begun to glimpse how thoughts are not the enemy, nor are they who you are. They are simply waves upon the mind's surface. But there is another subtle layer to this night's experience, one that often remains unnoticed unless we shine a gentle light upon it. It is this. Often what troubles us most is not the original difficulty itself, but how we respond to it. The Buddha spoke of this through the image of two arrows. The first arrow is life itself, the unavoidable discomforts, the challenges that arise naturally from being human. In this case, perhaps the first arrow is simple wakefulness. You find yourself unable to sleep. There it is. The body is restless. The mind is active. That is the first arrow, the bare fact of the moment. But then comes the second arrow, the thoughts that say, "This is terrible. I should be asleep. Something is wrong with me. I won't cope tomorrow. I'm failing." These reactions, layered upon the original experience, are the second arrows. They deepen the wound. They turn discomfort into suffering. And unlike the first arrow, which often cannot be avoided, the second is one we fire ourselves. Notice tonight, being awake is uncomfortable. Yes, but is it unbearable? Or is it the story about being awake, the second arrow, that creates the real distress? The judgment, the resistance, the inner voice that says, "It must not be this way." There is a quiet wisdom in seeing this. For once seen, the second arrow need not be shot. You can be with the first arrow, the reality of wakefulness, without adding layers of struggle, without compounding the pain. Perhaps even now you feel it, when you whisper inwardly, "It's okay to be awake." The tightness begins to ease, the breath softens, the mind grows less frantic. You are still awake. Yes, but you are no longer at war with wakefulness. This is not resignation. It is a profound shift in relationship. The difference between lying here caught in a swirl of anxious thoughts and lying here simply aware, present with what is. The second arrow often comes dressed in the word should. I should be asleep. I should be calm. I should have life figured out by now. Each should pierce us deeper, adding to the suffering. But life is not obliged to match our shoulds. The night unfolds. As it does, the body rests or does not. The mind quiets or does not. What if you released the shoulds? Even for this moment, there is great freedom in meeting life, where it is, not where we think it ought to be. The poet Rumi wrote, "Try not to resist the changes that come your way. Instead, let life live through you." This night is one of those changes. It is not what you hoped for, but it is what is here. Can you let it live through you? Without resistance, each moment you do, you are practicing a deep kindness toward yourself. You are choosing not to fire the second arrow. You are allowing the first arrow, wakefulness, to be simply what it is, without added pain. And often, paradoxically, it is this very acceptance that allows rest to arise naturally, not by force, not through struggle, but as a natural unfolding when the war within has ceased. So as you lie here, notice what second arrows are being drawn, what stories are being told about this night, and gently, kindly, set them down. You do not need to suffer about suffering. You can simply be present with what is. Awake, yes, but at peace within the wakefulness. This is a profound practice, one that reaches far beyond this single night. It is a way of meeting all of life's arrows with wisdom and compassion. And it begins here, with this breath. In this moment, the night continues. And so does the practice of gentle presence. You are doing it already, simply by being here, aware, alive to the unfolding of this sleepless hour. And in that, dear friend, there is a kind of quiet victory, not over sleep, but over the habit of suffering about what is. Now that you have begun to see how much of your suffering arises from resistance, from those second arrows, the path forward becomes clearer, not as a grand solution or a technique to fix this night, but as a gentle invitation into presence. For truly, what else is there right now? But this moment, the mind will try to pull you elsewhere, into regrets of the past, the things you wish you had done differently, into fears of the future, the imagined consequences of this sleepless night, into endless planning and rehearsing. But none of those are here. Here, in this room, in this body, there is only now, and now is more spacious than it first appears. One of the simplest, yet most profound practices offered by the Buddha is mindfulness of the body, of the breath, of this very moment's experience. Not to control it, not to change it, but simply to rest in it. As you lie here, feel the weight of your body on the bed, the gentle pressure where your back meets the mattress, the softness of the pillow beneath your head, the texture of the blanket against your skin. These sensations are not thoughts. They are direct experiences of this moment. Notice too the rhythm of your breath. You need not breathe in any special way. The body knows how to breathe, as it always has. Since your first moment in this life, feel the breath as it enters cool through the nostrils. Feel it as it leaves warm against the upper lip. In, out, rising, falling, a timeless rhythm, asking nothing of you. And notice when attention rests gently on the breath, even for a few moments, the swirl of thoughts begins to lose its grip. The mind quiets, not because you force it, but because you are no longer feeding its momentum. Thoughts may still arise, they always will, but now they are seen for what they are, passing ripples in the vast sea of awareness. You need not chase them. You need not push them away. You can simply return again and again to the breath, to the sensations of the body, to this moment. This is what it means to intrude, to dwell fully in the here and now. And perhaps you notice something surprising. Even though sleep has not yet come, there is already a kind of rest, a rest deeper than sleep, because it is free from striving. When the mind is no longer at war with the present, the body can relax more fully. The nervous system begins to settle, the heart beats a little softer, the breath deepens naturally, and whether or not sleep arrives, you are nourishing yourself in this state of presence. It is a subtle shift, but profound, no longer seeking to escape the moment. You are abiding in it, no longer rejecting what is. You are opening to it. In this space, the night ceases to be a problem. It becomes a field of practice, a chance to deepen awareness, to cultivate patience, compassion, and equanimity, and the breath is always here, an anchor to return to whenever the mind drifts, which it will, many times. That is not a failure. It is simply the nature of mind. The practice is in noticing the drift and gently returning. Each return is an act of kindness toward yourself, and over time, this kindness ripples outward, changing how you meet not just this night, but all of life. For life, too, is full of moments we cannot control, nights that do not go as planned, outcomes that do not match our hopes, and the ability to rest in presence, to meet each moment with an open heart. This is a gift beyond measure. So as you breathe now, let it be simple. No goal, no striving, just this breath, felt fully, this body, resting as it can, this mind, observed with gentle curiosity, and in this simple presence, perhaps you will discover what countless meditators, monks, and ordinary seekers have found through the ages, that peace is not the absence of difficulty, but the presence of awareness amidst whatever arises, even now, even here, even in the heart of a sleepless night. As you lie here, resting more fully in the present moment, a new understanding may begin to dawn, one as old as the teachings of the Buddha, and as immediate as this breath. Everything changes. Perhaps you have already noticed it. Subtly, the sensations in the body shift from moment to moment. A slight ache in the shoulder fades. The warmth beneath the blanket deepens. The breath grows slower, then quicker, then slower again. Even the restless mind, once a torrent of anxious thoughts, now ebbs and flows, sometimes louder, sometimes softer. This is the nature of all things. Impermanence, the truth that nothing stays the same. In Buddhist practice, this is known as anicca, but you need not remember the word. You can feel its truth directly. Here, now, notice, this moment is not the same as the one before. The thoughts that seemed so urgent a few minutes ago have drifted into the background. New ones arise, then pass. Sensations change. Moods shift. Even wakefulness itself is not one fixed state. One moment you may feel tense and frustrated. The next, more spacious and accepting. Then another wave of thought comes, and the experience shifts again. Nothing in this human experience is static. Everything is in flux, in flow. And while this truth may at first seem unsettling, especially when we cling to comfort, to certainty it is, In fact, deeply liberating. For if all things change, then no discomfort lasts forever. No restless night is permanent. No thought, however sticky, can bind us endlessly. Even the most persistent feeling will eventually give way to something else. Consider how much of the suffering tonight has come from the belief that this wakefulness is fixed. I'll never fall asleep, the mind says. This will ruin tomorrow. These are thoughts born from forgetting the nature of impermanence. But when you remember when you truly feel that everything shifts, a lightness enters. The grip of fear loosens. Yes, you are awake now, but that, too, will change. Perhaps in an hour, perhaps with the next breath, perhaps when you least expect it. And even if sleep does not come when you hope, this state of wakefulness is itself unfolding. Moment by moment, you are not stuck. You are flowing through time, through experience, through the living river of life. This understanding is not merely philosophical. It touches the heart, softens it. For how much of human suffering comes from trying to hold on to youth, to health, to relationships, to identity, to moments we wish would last, and how much comes from fearing what might come aging, loss, uncertainty, the unknown. Yet life itself is change, breath by breath, day by day, season by season. To resist this truth is to swim upstream against the current of existence. Exhausting, futile, painful, but to flow with it, to recognize and accept the dance of arising and passing, is to enter a different relationship with life, one marked not by clinging, but by a gentle openness, a willingness to meet each moment as it comes. Even this moment, this wakefulness, this night. The ancient Zen masters would sometimes remind their students, this, too, shall pass. It is not a cliche, but a profound pointer. Whatever arises, arises to pass. And so, dear friend, as you rest here, perhaps you can begin to notice this dance more intimately. The coolness of the night air shifts. The breath moves in, moves out. Thoughts appear, dissolve. The body feels tense, then softens, then tenses again. Each arising is followed by a passing. Each moment gives birth to the next. And amidst this river of change, you, the awareness, remain, watching, resting, not clinging to what is pleasant, not pushing away what is unpleasant, simply witnessing the unfolding. There is great peace in this. Even if sleep does not come, you are learning to abide with life as it is not frozen, but flowing, not trapped, but ever-changing. And with this understanding, the night no longer feels so heavy. It becomes alive, a field of impermanence through which you gently float. Perhaps this is the deeper rest you truly seek, not just the rest of the body, but the rest of a heart no longer fighting the truth of change. And in this way, the lesson of the night becomes a lesson for life. For all things will change our roles, our relationships, our very bodies. To meet this truth with grace is to walk the path of wisdom, and it begins simply here, with this breath, with this moment, with this living awareness of impermanence. You are already practicing, already awakening, breath by breath, moment by moment, as you rest here, perhaps beginning to sense how everything is in motion, breath, body, thought, even the very experience of wakefulness. Another subtle insight may begin to arise. If everything is changing, then what? Truly, is the self who is awake tonight? It is an intriguing question, one that sages, philosophers, and seekers have pondered for centuries. When you say, I am awake, who is this I? Is it the body? But the body itself is not fixed. Cells are born and die with each passing moment. The sensations you feel now are different from those of a moment ago. The body changes with age, with experience, with every breath. Is it the mind? But as you have seen tonight, the mind is a river of thoughts ever flowing, ever shifting. One moment calm, the next restless. One moment hopeful, the next doubtful. There is no single, unchanging mind to be found. Is it your emotions, your memories, your roles in life? Each of these, too, is transient. Emotions rise and fall like waves. Memories fade and change over time. Roles come and go, child. Student, parent, friend, each a passing identity, not the essence of who you are. So what remains? In the teachings of the Buddha, this inquiry points to the insight of anatta, often translated as non-self or no fixed self. End of comment. It does not mean that you do not exist. Rather, it means that what you usually take to be you, this bundle of body, thoughts, emotions, identities, is not a solid, separate, unchanging entity. You are not an object, frozen in time. You are a process, a flow, a constellation of experiences arising and passing in awareness. And awareness itself, spacious, open, clear, is not something you own. It is not my awareness in the possessive sense. It simply is, like the sky, vast and unobstructed, in which clouds appear and disappear. Tonight, as you lie here, you can glimpse this directly. Notice, thoughts arise. I must sleep. I will be tired tomorrow. And yet you can observe them. Feelings arise. Restlessness, frustration, acceptance, and yet you can observe them. Sensations arise. Warmth, coolness, tension, relaxation, and yet you can observe them. You are the awareness in which all of this unfolds, and that awareness has no fixed shape. It does not age. It is not anxious. It is not tired. It simply knows gently, quietly, whatever is present. This is a profound freedom. For when you do not cling to a fixed identity, I am an insomniac. I am anxious. I am failing. You are no longer bound by the mind's stories. You see them for what they are, transient patterns, not truths, not you. Even the thought, I am not sleeping, is just that, a thought. It arises, is noticed, and passes. And as you rest in this spacious awareness, something softens. The grip of identification loosens. The sense of, I must fix this, fades. You are not here to battle the night. You are here to witness it, to be present with what is. And in this witnessing, a deeper kind of rest becomes possible for the one who was striving, the one who was caught in, I must sleep, I am failing, I cannot stop thinking, was never the true you. It was a momentary construction, a passing appearance in the mind. You are the space in which even that construction arises and dissolves. This is not something to believe. It is something to sense, to feel directly, Each time you notice a thought and let it pass. Each time you rest in awareness rather than identification. You are touching this truth. You are not your thoughts. You are not your emotions. You are not this night of wakefulness. You are the open, boundless awareness in which all of this is unfolding. And that awareness is vast enough to hold even this restless night with compassion, with patience, with peace. So rest here, dear friend, not striving to be anything, not clinging to any identity, simply being, breath by breath, moment by moment, awareness, aware of itself. And in this simple resting, perhaps you will sense what the great teachers have whispered across the ages, that the true self is not a thing to be found, but the spaciousness in which all things appear and pass, even this night, even this breath, even this ever-changing dance of experience. You are not trapped in this night. You are the space through which this night moves. And in that, there is freedom deeper than any sleep, a freedom already here, already awake. As the night deepens, and as you rest more lightly in the spacious awareness of this moment, perhaps a new curiosity arises. Why this night? Why is the mind so restless now? Why does sleep elude you tonight? When perhaps just yesterday it came so easily? It is a natural question. The mind likes reasons, explanations. And here, again, the teachings of the Buddha offer a gentle lens through which to see more clearly. The Buddha spoke of dependent origination, the understanding that everything arises in dependence upon causes and conditions. Nothing exists in isolation. No single event or experience springs forth fully formed, without context. Tonight's wakefulness is no exception. It did not arise from a single cause, nor is it a punishment, nor a personal failing. It is the natural unfolding of countless factors, some obvious, some subtle, many beyond your conscious awareness. Perhaps it began with the extra cup of coffee in the afternoon, or the email you read just before bed that stirred a forgotten worry. Perhaps the body carries a tension built up from days or weeks of stress. Perhaps the moon is bright, the air heavier than usual, the rhythms of the season subtly shifting. And beyond these surface conditions are deeper layers, the habits of mind and body shaped over years, the conditioning from childhood, the learned patterns of how you meet uncertainty, how you respond to restlessness, how you hold expectations around sleep and rest. Each of these threads weaves into this present moment, creating the experience of being awake in the middle of the night. There is no single culprit, no solitary why, only a tapestry of conditions, interwoven in ways too intricate to fully grasp. And when you see this, a softening occurs. For so often, the second arrows arise from self-blame. Why can't I sleep? What is wrong with me? I should have done this or that differently. But through the lens of dependent origination, you begin to understand. This wakefulness is not a failure. It is simply the natural result of countless conditions coming together in this moment. And as conditions shift as they always do, so too will this state shift. The mind will quiet, the body will rest, sleep will come. When the conditions for sleep are present, just as clouds form when moisture, temperature, and wind converge, and dissolve when those conditions change, so too does this experience arise and pass. You are not stuck. You are not broken. You are witnessing the flow of cause and effect, unfolding, moment by moment. And this understanding can bring great relief. For when you see that there is no singular you causing this night of wakefulness. The weight of self-judgment lifts. You can meet this moment with greater kindness, greater patience. Instead of asking, "Why can't I sleep?" you might ask, "What conditions are present now?" And then rest in that knowing. Perhaps the body is a little tense, the mind a little stirred, the heart holding unspoken worries. That is not a problem to be fixed, but a reality to be acknowledged, gently, kindly, and as you acknowledge, without resistance, the conditions themselves begin to shift. Tension may ease, the breath may deepen, the mind may soften, not because you forced change, but because you stopped fueling the cycle of struggle. This is the heart of wisdom in dependent origination, understanding that what is here arose from what came before and will give rise to what comes next. You are not the controller of this night, nor its victim. You are a participant in the unfolding dance of conditions, and within that dance, you can choose your relationship to the moment. You can choose to meet it with curiosity rather than frustration, with compassion rather than blame, with patience rather than urgency. And in that choice, new conditions are born, conditions that support ease, rest, and perhaps, in time, sleep. But whether sleep comes or not, this shift matters, for it transforms the experience of the night. It is no longer a battle to win or lose. It is a field of practice, a place to cultivate presence, understanding, and grace. And that is a practice that will serve you not only tonight, but in every moment of this life, for all of life arises through causes and conditions, ever changing, ever unfolding. And when you meet life with this understanding, with this gentle heart, you move with the flow of existence, no longer caught in its currents, but dancing within them. And that, dear friend, is a profound freedom, one that is already beginning, here, now, in this very breath. As you rest here, with a gentler understanding of how this night has unfolded through countless conditions, you may begin to notice another curious habit of the mind, one that often goes unseen unless we look carefully. It is this: the mind loves to spin stories, not just to report what is happening, but to elaborate, to weave narrative upon narrative, often far beyond the simplicity of the present moment. In the ancient teachings, this tendency is known as papanka, a word that points to the proliferation of mental constructions, the way the mind elaborates experience into complex, often unhelpful stories. You may have witnessed it tonight. Perhaps the body was simply awake, a neutral fact, but the mind, restless and eager, began to build. If I don't sleep, I'll be exhausted tomorrow. I won't perform well. I might make mistakes. What if this keeps happening? What if something is wrong with me? And suddenly, what began as mere wakefulness became a tangled web of fear, self-doubt, and imagined catastrophe. This is papanka in action, the mind taking a single thread and spinning it into an entire tapestry. And it is entirely normal. All human minds do this. It is how the mind has evolved to predict, to plan, to protect. But a tu, nul a, m. In the quiet of the night, this habit often runs unchecked. Without the grounding of daily activities, the mind's stories can spiral, gaining momentum with each passing thought. And here is the subtle suffering. It is not the wakefulness itself that wounds us most, but the cascade of imagined futures and judgments the mind constructs around it. It is like standing in a room with a small candle and imagining the shadows to be great monsters. The candle flickers a minor event, but the imagination runs wild. The practice, then, is not to fight the mind, nor to silence it by force, but to see clearly. These are stories, not reality, not truth. You can witness Papanka as it unfolds. You can notice, the mind is building a narrative. You can smile at it gently. You need not enter the story. For example, notice, I'm awake is a simple fact. This is terrible and will ruin everything is a story. One is light, the other heavy. You can choose to return to the simplicity of what is real, here and now. The breath, the sensation of the body resting, the sounds of the night. These are direct experiences, not elaborations. And when you rest in direct experience, Papanka loses its fuel. Without your belief, without your emotional engagement, the stories begin to dissolve. They arise as they always will, but they pass through like clouds drifting across the sky. This is not a practice of suppression. It is a practice of gentle recognition. You see the stories, and you let them be, without clinging. And with this seeing comes spaciousness. Suddenly, the night feels less oppressive. The mind's theater is still playing, but you are no longer in the front row, absorbed in every scene. You are seated farther back, relaxed, watching the play with a knowing smile. Perhaps this is the deeper rest we truly seek, not merely the rest of the body, but the rest of not being caught in the endless dramas of the mind. And as you practice this, seeing breath by breath, thought by thought, you cultivate a freedom that extends far beyond this night. For Papanka is not limited to sleepless hours. It plays out in the mind each day, weaving stories about ourselves, others, life itself. And the more you learn to witness it here, in the quiet of the night, the more skillfully you can meet it in the light of day. This is why the Buddha taught not just to meditate for a special experience, but to cultivate wisdom, the clear seeing of the mind's nature. And tonight, this sleeplessness offers the perfect field for such seeing. You are not failing. You are practicing. Each moment of awareness, each gentle return to simplicity, is a step deeper into freedom. And that, dear friend, is a gift far greater than sleep alone, though sleep, too, will come when the time is right, when the conditions are ripe. Until then, you rest here, awake, yet at peace, witnessing the mind's dance, no longer bound by its steps. This is the heart of the path presence amidst the flow, clarity amidst the stories, freedom within the very life you are living now. Now that you have begun to see how the mind spins its stories, how it elaborates simple wakefulness into a grand narrative of suffering, another gentle truth may arise. At the heart of this restless striving is often a single thought, one so familiar, so ingrained, that it feels almost invisible. I must sleep. It sounds reasonable enough. After all, sleep is natural, necessary, even healing. Of course we wish for it, but notice how this wish, when clung to tightly, becomes a demand, and how that demand fuels tension, frustration, and further wakefulness. The more the mind insists, I must sleep, the more the body tightens, the breath grows shallow, the heart races, and sleep, that gentle visitor, feels driven further away. It is the paradox of striving. The harder you chase it, the faster it runs. Like trying to catch a butterfly by grasping, only to watch it flit out of reach. Or like trying to smooth the surface of a pond by stirring the water with your hands. Each attempt only creates more ripples. This is why the art of letting go is so profound. It is not giving up. It is not saying sleep does not matter. It is simply releasing the grip of insistence, the inner voice that declares, it must be this way. Right now, you can still welcome sleep, but with an open palm, not a clenched fist. You can say, sleep is welcome here, whenever it comes, but I do not need to force it. I can rest even in wakefulness. This shift from striving to allowing transforms the experience of the night. Suddenly, the room feels less like a battleground. The body softens. The breath finds its natural rhythm. You are no longer caught in the exhausting loop of must and should. You are here, resting in what is, and in this resting, something beautiful unfolds. Even if sleep has not yet come, you are already practicing the deeper rest, the rest of not struggling against reality. It is a practice of great compassion toward yourself. For consider, how much energy have you spent tonight and on nights past fighting wakefulness? How much inner harshness have you directed toward this natural state of the body, simply being awake? And what if, instead, you met this wakefulness with kindness, with a soft whisper inward, it is okay to be awake. No demand, no battle, just permission to be as you are, here and now. In Zen, there is a saying, let go or be dragged. When we cling tightly to how things should be, we are dragged through suffering. When we release the grip, we float, buoyed by the flow of life, as it is. And tonight, this is your practice, to gently loosen the grip on must sleep, and to open to what is here. This does not mean sleep will never come. In fact, paradoxically, it often comes more easily when we stop grasping for it. But more importantly, it means you can find peace, even when sleep does not come on your timetable. You are not defined by this moment of wakefulness. You are not failing. You are simply living, breathing, sensing, being in this human body, in this human life. And life includes moments of wakefulness, just as it includes moments of sleep. Neither is inherently better or worse. Both are part of the flow. When you release the demand that one must replace the other right now, you step into a space of freedom. A freedom where rest can be found even in the absence of sleep. A freedom where kindness can blossom even in the face of discomfort. And in that freedom, the night becomes a friend, not an adversary, a teacher, not a tormentor. So as you breathe here, dear friend, perhaps you can whisper inwardly, it's okay to be awake. It's okay to rest without sleep. I welcome this moment, just as it is, and let that welcoming be your practice. Breath by breath, moment by moment. No need to force, no need to strive, just being, just allowing, and in that simple allowing, the deepest rest is already unfolding here. Now, in this quiet space of the night, now that you have begun to loosen the grip of striving, to rest more gently with wakefulness itself, another subtle door begins to open, one that leads not only to peace, but to healing. It is the door of compassion, and it begins, first and foremost, with yourself. For so often, in these sleepless hours, the harshest voice is the one within. You may have noticed it tonight, that inner critic, that weary refrain. Why can't I sleep? What is wrong with me? I'll be useless tomorrow. This voice, though it means to help, to push you toward rest, only stirs more tension, more self-judgment, more suffering. And yet, beneath that voice is something softer, a part of you that simply longs to be well, a part that is tired, yes, but also tender, a part that, more than sleep, needs kindness. In the teachings of the Buddha, this is where metta-loving kindness begins, not as a lofty practice for saints or sages, but as a simple gesture of care, offered first to oneself. And here, in the quiet of this night, you can offer it to yourself not as a technique, but as a heartfelt turning toward your own experience. It can begin with a simple inward whisper, as if speaking to a dear friend, for truly, you are that friend to yourself. May I be well. May I be at peace. May I find rest in body and in heart. May I meet this moment with kindness. Notice how these words feel as you offer them inwardly. There is no need to force any feeling. The words themselves are seeds. Sometimes they blossom into warmth. Sometimes they rest quietly in the soil of awareness. Both are enough. And if the mind responds with resistance, but I'm not at peace, I'm not resting, this isn't working, that too can be met with kindness. Here is self-judgment. May I meet even this with gentleness. For the true heart of loving kindness is not about changing what is present, but about how we hold it. You can be awake and still hold yourself in kindness. You can feel restless and still offer yourself compassion. You can meet every breath, every thought, every sensation with a soft, open heart. And in doing so, you create the conditions for true rest, the rest of a heart no longer at war with itself. It is a quiet, revolutionary act to meet your own experience with love rather than judgment. And as you rest here, practicing this simple metta, you may notice that the heart softens, the breath deepens, the body settles a little more. You are no longer a problem to be fixed. You are a human being, worthy of care. In this moment, exactly as you are, and from this wellspring of self-compassion, the circle of kindness can naturally widen. You might gently offer metta to others who, like you, are awake in this very hour. May all beings who are awake tonight be at peace. May they feel held in kindness. May they find rest, whatever form it may take. And perhaps a soft smile arises as you remember, you are not alone in this experience. All across the world, others lie awake too, each with their own hopes, worries, longings. You are connected in this shared human experience. And this connection, held in kindness, is itself a balm. The poet Naomi Shihab Nye writes, "Before you know what kindness really is, you must lose things, and perhaps tonight, in losing sleep, you are discovering a deeper kindness, one that asks nothing of you but your own gentle presence. So as you breathe here, dear friend, let this kindness flow through you. No striving, no effort, just the quiet offering of a heart that says, even this is worthy of love. Even now, I am worthy of love." And in this loving presence, the night softens, the heart opens, and rest, whatever form it takes, begins to bloom from within. As the gentle current of loving kindness flows through you, Another realization may begin to dawn, one that brings great comfort in these solitary hours. You are not alone. It can be easy, in the stillness of the night, with the world seemingly asleep around you, to feel isolated. The mind whispers, "Everyone else is resting. Why am I the only one awake? What is wrong with me?" But pause. Breathe. Look beyond the walls of this room, beyond this single moment, across cities, across countries, across time zones. Countless others lie awake, just as you do now. A mother soothing her restless child, an elder remembering long ago days, a student fretting over tomorrow's exam, a worker worrying about an uncertain future, a heart grieving a recent loss, a mind caught, like yours, in restless thought. The reasons vary, but the experience is shared, the simple human truth of wakefulness in the night. And when you open to this knowing, a subtle warmth arises, the warmth of connection. You are not a solitary being adrift in a sea of sleep. You are one among many, carried by the same currents of life, touched by the same joys and sorrows, hopes and fears. In this very moment, perhaps someone, in a room much like yours, is listening to these words, breathing, wondering, seeking peace. And in this shared seeking, a quiet kinship is born. The Buddha taught that suffering is universal, but so too is the capacity for compassion, for understanding, for connection. And in recognizing this, the night no longer feels so heavy. It becomes a great, soft web of humanity, each person resting, stirring, waking, dreaming together beneath the same vast sky. You are not the only one awake beneath these stars. And this knowing is a comfort deeper than words, for often it is not the wakefulness itself that wounds us most, but the sense of being alone in it. But you are not alone. You are part of the great fabric of life, woven through with the experiences of millions, each heartbeat echoing yours. Even the breath you take now is shared, the same air moving through countless bodies, the same rhythm rising and falling across the world. In this shared breath, this shared humanity, there is solace. You need not bear this night alone. And from this sense of connection, the heart can open further still. You may wish, in your own quiet way, to offer metta again, this time to all those who lie awake this night. May we all find ease in wakefulness. May we all rest in kindness, whether in sleep or in simple presence. May we all remember we are not alone. And as you breathe, imagine this kindness spreading like ripples on a pond, touching unseen hearts, softening unseen burdens. This is the beauty of practice. Even here, even now, in the midst of wakefulness, you can be a source of healing for yourself and for the world, for each heart that softens tonight, each mind that releases its harsh grip, each body that rests a little more gently. This is a gift not only to the individual, but to the greater whole. And as you lie here, part of this vast, unseen Sangha of the sleepless, perhaps you can rest in this knowing, I am not alone. I am connected. I am held by life itself. And in this holding, a deeper peace begins to blossom, not dependent on sleep, not contingent on circumstances, but born from the simple truth of shared being. And that peace, dear friend, is already here, soft, steady, waiting within this very breath. As the sense of connection settles in your heart, another spacious truth quietly emerges. one that can transform how you relate to this moment and to all moments of life. You are not your thoughts. It sounds simple. Perhaps you have heard it before. But here, in the quiet of this night, you can feel it more directly. Notice, thoughts continue to arise, just as they have all night. I should be asleep. Tomorrow will be difficult. I can't stop thinking. They appear, one after another, some familiar, some surprising, some fleeting, some sticky. But pause for a moment and observe, who is noticing these thoughts? There is an awareness vast, silent, steady, in which these thoughts are arising. The thoughts come and go, but the awareness remains. This is who you are, at the deepest level, not the passing content of the mind, but the open space in which all experiences unfold. A common metaphor used in both Zen and many contemplative traditions is this: you are the sky. Your thoughts are clouds. Sometimes the sky is filled with clouds thick, dark, swirling. Sometimes it is clear and bright. But in all cases, the sky itself remains untouched. The clouds do not stain the sky, they pass through it. And in the same way, no thought, no restless night, no fleeting mood can touch the true nature of your awareness. The mind may say, I am failing. This is hopeless. I will never rest. But these are clouds. They drift in, they drift out. You, the sky, remain vast, open, unchanged. Even in this moment, as wakefulness continues, the awareness that knows this is awake is itself perfectly whole. It does not resist. It does not cling. It simply knows. And the more you rest in this knowing, the lighter the clouds become. You no longer need to chase them away. You no longer need to believe every story they tell. You can let them float by, as clouds do, while resting as the sky itself. This is not an effortful practice. It is a gentle remembering. Each time a thought arises, I should be sleeping. I cannot do this. You can quietly note a cloud, a vose, and then return to the sky of awareness. Breath moving in and out, body resting on the bed. Presence here is spacious, clear, and in this returning, something softens. The identification with thought loosens. The grip of self-judgment weakens. You begin to dwell more fully as the sky vast enough to hold every thought, every feeling, every moment, without being disturbed. And in this vastness, there is great freedom, for no matter what the night brings, restlessness, clarity, tension, ease, you can meet it all from this space of openness. The sky does not fear the storm. It does not cling to the sunlight. It holds all, allows all, releases all, and so can you. Tonight, as you lie here, each breath is an opportunity to remember, I am not these thoughts. I am the space in which they appear, and resting in this space, you are already free, even if the mind chatters, even if the body stirs, even if sleep has not yet arrived. For the deepest peace is not found in silencing the mind, but in seeing through its illusions. And in this seeing, the sky within you opens wider, welcoming the night just as it is, breath by breath, moment by moment, clouds drifting, sky abiding, and you timeless, is spacious, at ease. Now that you have begun to sense yourself as the spacious sky, gently holding the clouds of thought, you may wonder, How can I deepen this presence? How can I continue resting in this openness when the mind inevitably pulls me into its stories again and again? The Buddha, with great wisdom and compassion, offered a simple yet profound path, one that is not reserved for monks or advanced meditators, but available to anyone, anywhere, even here, even now, lying in your bed. It is called Satipatthana, often translated as the four foundations of mindfulness. But you need not remember the term. What matters is the spirit of the practice, a gentle, curious awareness of your experience as it unfolds. And it begins simply with the body. Notice the weight of your body resting on the bed, the contact between your back and the mattress, the warmth beneath the blanket, the coolness of the air on your face, the subtle movements as the body breathes. There is nothing to achieve, no special state to reach, just this sensing the body here, now. Each sensation is a doorway into presence. Each breath is an anchor to this moment. And as you rest attention lightly on the body, the mind begins to settle, not by force, but because it is gently invited home into the reality of what is felt directly from the body. Awareness can naturally open to feeling tone, the second foundation. Notice, is this moment pleasant, unpleasant, neutral? There is no right answer. It is not about changing anything, only seeing clearly. Perhaps there is a sense of tension unpleasant, perhaps a warmth or softness pleasant, perhaps much of the body feels simply neutral. And here again, you rest in openness, allowing all tones of experience, no clinging, no resistance, just noticing. From feeling tone, awareness can move to the state of mind. The third foundation, gently inquire, what is the state of the mind now? Is it calm, restless, dull, bright, tense, spacious? You are not judging. You are not trying to change the mind. You are simply observing it, like watching weather move across the sky. A restless mind is not a problem. It is simply what is here now. A calm mind is not a prize. It too will change. Through this gentle seeing, the grip of identification loosens. You no longer become the restless mind. You witness it. You no longer cling to the calm mind. You witness it. And finally, awareness can touch mental objects, the thoughts, emotions, and patterns that arise. Again, you are not chasing or analyzing them. You are simply noting, a thought about tomorrow. A memory from earlier today. A wave of worry. A moment of ease. And with each noticing, you rest again in the knowing. These too are clouds in the vast sky of awareness. This simple practice of body, feeling tone, mind, state, and mental objects is not a rigid sequence. It is a fluid, living awareness that can move gently among these foundations as the night unfolds. One breath, you may feel the body. The next, notice the tone of the moment. The next, witness the state of mind. The next, observe a thought arising and passing, and always, beneath it all, the spacious, knowing awareness remains clear, open, untouched. This is the heart of mindfulness practice, and it requires no special posture, no formal sitting, no effortful striving. Even here, lying on your bed, you are practicing. Even now, in this moment of wakefulness, You are deepening presence. And as this presence grows, the need to get somewhere begins to dissolve. Sleep may come, or not. The mind may settle, or not. The body may rest, or stir. But beneath it all, you remain open, aware, at peace with what is. And in this peace, the night becomes no longer an obstacle, but a sacred space of practice. Each breath a doorway, each sensation a teacher, each moment a chance to remember, I am here, I am aware, I am enough, just as I am. And this, dear friend, is a profound rest, one that no sleeplessness can disturb. As you rest here, gently aware of body, feelings, mind, and thoughts, another subtle truth may begin to reveal itself, one that points to the heart of the Buddha's teachings and to a freedom beyond all striving. It is this: everything you experience, every sensation, every thought, every mood is empty of fixed, independent existence. This is sometimes called emptiness, or shunyata, in the ancient language of the teachings. But do not be misled by the word. It is not a cold or nihilistic void. Quite the opposite. It is the spaciousness of life itself, open, fluid, free. Consider this moment. You feel the breath rising and falling, but the breath is not a thing. It is a process, a flow of air, a dance of body and life. You notice sensations in the body, but they, too, are not fixed. They arise, shift, fade, never the same from one moment to the next. You observe thoughts perhaps about tomorrow, about the night, about yourself. But where is the thought once it has passed? Like a ripple on water, it leaves no lasting trace. Even the sense of I, the one who is lying here awake, is not a solid object. It, too, is a construction woven from shifting sensations, memories, and habits of mind. Everything is interdependent. Everything arises in relation to other things. Nothing stands alone, fixed, separate. And this is not philosophy. It is something you can feel directly here. Now, notice, no part of this experience is solid. Everything is moving, changing, unfolding moment by moment. And in seeing this, a great lightness can arise. For so much suffering comes from taking the contents of experience to be solid and absolute. I am anxious. I will not sleep. This is unbearable. But when you see that all of this, the anxiety, the sleeplessness, the very sense of self, is a fluid dance of conditions. The grip of identification loosens. You no longer need to fight what arises, because you see its empty, changing nature. A thought is just a thought, not a truth carved in stone. A feeling is just a feeling, not a permanent state. Wakefulness is just wakefulness, not a fixed identity. Everything is like a cloud passing through the sky, like a wave moving through the ocean. And you, the awareness, are spacious enough to hold it all. This is the gift of understanding emptiness. It opens the hand of clinging. It softens the heart's need to grasp or resist. You can rest in the knowing that all things, even this restless night, are fluid, open, without fixed substance. And in this resting, a deep ease arises. You no longer need to push away what is unpleasant, nor cling to what is pleasant. You can let life be as it is, a flowing river, ever changing, ever alive. And this is freedom. Not freedom from experience, but freedom within experience. Even now, even here, in the midst of wakefulness, this freedom is available. You need not attain anything. You need not fix anything. You can simply rest in the spacious, empty nature of all that arises, breath by breath, moment by moment, awareness wide, open, free, and in this openness, the night itself becomes vast, not a narrow corridor of suffering, but a wide sky through which all things move. And you, dear friend, are this sky, spacious, luminous, untouched. Rest here, trust this. The deepest peace is already present. As you continue resting in this spacious awareness, gently sensing the empty, flowing nature of all experience, a further wisdom begins to reveal itself, one that lies at the very heart of the Buddha's path, the middle way. It is a wisdom of balance, of walking a path between extremes, and tonight, in this very experience of wakefulness, this teaching becomes beautifully relevant. For consider how easily the mind swings between two poles in the midst of a sleepless night. On one side, there is striving the urgent push to make sleep happen. I must fall asleep now. I need to do something to fix this. Maybe if I try harder, it will work. This striving, though well-intentioned, tightens the body, agitates the mind, and often drives sleep further away like clenching a fist to catch water. On the other side, there is despair, the sinking belief that all is lost. I'll never sleep. Tomorrow will be ruined. There's no point in trying. This despair collapses the heart, drains vitality, and closes the door to presence and possibility. And so the mind, caught in this pendulum, swings, striving, despairing, striving again, despairing again. It is exhausting, but the Buddha, with deep compassion, pointed to another way, the middle way, neither forcing nor giving up, neither grasping nor collapsing. Instead, resting gently in what is. I am awake now. That is all. Not a problem to fix, not a failure to endure. Simply a moment of life, unfolding as it does. And in this middle way, there is great ease. For when you cease pushing towards sleep and cease falling into hopelessness about its absence, a new space opens, the space of allowing. It's okay to be awake. It's okay not to know when sleep will come. It's okay to rest in wakefulness itself. This is the gentle art of the middle way, a path of kindness, of patience, of trust. And paradoxically, it is often in this very allowing, this letting go of the extremes, that the body and mind naturally soften and sleep may arise of its own accord. But even if it does not, you are no longer trapped in suffering. You are free to rest, as you are, awake or asleep, without struggle. The ancient teachers often compared this path to tuning a stringed instrument. If the string is too tight, it snaps. If too loose, it produces no sound. But tuned just right, it sings. And so too with the heart tonight. Too tight striving and forcing, too loose despair and collapse, just right. A gentle, balanced presence with what is, and you can feel this tuning in the body. Notice, is there tension, a forcing? If so, soften. Notice, is there collapse, a giving up? If so, lift gently into presence, again and again. Breath by breath, you tune yourself to the middle way, not as a technique to achieve sleep, but as a path to peace in this very moment. And in walking this path, you are embodying one of the deepest teachings of the Buddha, not in a temple, not on a meditation cushion, but here, in the heart of an ordinary sleepless night. This is the beauty of the practice. It is not reserved for special moments. It is lived, breath by breath, wherever you are. And tonight, dear friend, you are already walking it. With each breath, with each moment of gentle presence, with each return to balance. And in this walking, you are free, not because sleep has come, but because you have ceased clinging to either extreme. And this, perhaps, is the truest rest, a heart at ease in the midst of life as it is. Now that you have begun to sense the gentle balance of the middle way, neither forcing nor giving up, another subtle invitation arises to renew your relationship with the present moment itself. For so often, when wakefulness lingers, the mind begins to frame the night as a problem to be solved. I must find a way to sleep. This should not be happening. How long will this last? And in doing so, the present moment becomes an obstacle, something to endure, to get past. But what if softly, curiously, you turn toward this moment, not as a barrier, but as a field of exploration, not as something wrong, but as something alive? For in truth, this moment, this breath, this body resting here, this awareness aware, is the only reality there is. The past is memory. The future is imagination. Only now is alive. And though the mind may protest, but this isn't the moment I wanted, life itself always unfolds here. Even this wakeful night is part of the great dance of existence, no less sacred, no less worthy of presence than any other moment. And so, dear friend, the practice deepens to meet this very moment as it is, with open hands and open heart. You might begin simply. Feel the breath cool in, warm out. Feel the body heavy, light, tense, relaxed. However it is, feel the sounds near, far, subtle, strong. Feel the presence of being the simple I am that underlies all experience. And notice, when you rest here, without striving, without resisting, a quiet ease begins to arise. Not because the conditions have changed, you may still be awake, but because your relationship to the moment has softened. You are no longer in exile from the now. You have returned home to it. And in this homecoming, the heart can rest. The mind may still chatter, thoughts may still come and go, but beneath them, presence remains vast, open, kind, and in this presence, the night itself transforms. It is no longer a trial to survive, but a space to inhabit, no longer a failure to correct, but a moment to meet. This is the power of renewing your relationship with the now. It frees you from the tyranny of comparison. You are no longer caught in how it should be. You are resting in how it is. And in this resting, life flows more easily. Breath moves, body settles, mind opens, heart softens, and sleep, it may come, or it may not. But this is no longer the measure of success. The true gift is this deepening presence, this ability to be with life as it unfolds, without resistance. For if you can meet this wakeful night with such grace, imagine how you might meet the many moments of the day to come. Each traffic jam, each unexpected delay, each joyful surprise, each quiet sorrow, all can be met with the same open heart, the same spacious awareness. And so, this night becomes a teacher, not of how to force sleep, but of how to live more fully awake. Here, now, as you are, breath by breath, moment by moment, presence deepening. And in this deepening, the heart finds a rest beyond sleep, the rest of coming home to life itself. As your relationship with the present moment softens, as you rest more fully in the simple experience of now, another quiet truth begins to emerge, one that may surprise you. It is possible to experience peace even in the midst of wakefulness. Not because the circumstances have changed. The body may still be awake. The mind may still occasionally stir, but because your way of being with it has transformed. This is the subtle awakening that the Buddha pointed to, not an escape from life's conditions, but a deep freedom within them. You begin to taste this freedom when you realize peace is not waiting on the other side of sleep. It is available here, in this very breath. The mind may have told a different story. I will feel better when I sleep. I can only be at peace when this is over. But now you see, this moment, just as it is, can hold peace. For peace is not the absence of wakefulness. It is the absence of struggle. When striving falls away, when the fight against what is dissolves, a natural ease arises. The breath moves freely. The body rests gently. The heart opens quietly. And though the night remains dark, it no longer feels heavy. You are not trapped in it. You are flowing with it. And in this flowing, you glimpse the essence of awakening, a freedom that does not depend on circumstances. It is not about achieving a special state. It is about meeting whatever arises with an open heart. Even this wakefulness, this uncertainty, this imperfect moment. The great Zen master Dogen once said, "Enlightenment is intimacy with all things." And tonight, you are practicing this intimacy, not by seeking some transcendent experience, but by being fully present with what is here: breath, body, thoughts, sounds, emotions, each met with gentle awareness, each allowed to arise and pass. And in this allowing, you realize there is nothing missing from this moment. It is whole. It is complete. Even with wakefulness, even with the mind's movements. This is the heart of the practice, to awaken not by escaping life, but by entering it fully. And so, this night, which the mind once framed as a problem, becomes a doorway into deeper presence, a doorway into greater kindness, a doorway into freedom. And this freedom is not fragile. It is not dependent on sleep arriving. It is not lost when thoughts arise. It is the natural openness of awareness itself, always here, always available. Even now, even here, even in this moment of sleeplessness. And so, dear friend, as you rest here, know this: you are already touching awakening. Not in some distant future, not in some perfected state, but here, in the simple act of meeting this moment with presence and kindness. This is the true peace, the peace of a heart no longer divided from life. And this peace can accompany you through the rest of the night. Whether sleep comes or not, it can accompany you into the day to come, into each interaction, each breath, each unfolding moment. For once you have touched this space, this freedom within what is it is never far. It is always here, waiting in the background of awareness, ready to be remembered, breath by breath, moment by moment, awakening, already unfolding. And so you rest, not waiting for some future moment of release, but savoring the deep rest of presence itself, here, now, awake, at peace. And now, as the night stretches onward, perhaps darker still, or perhaps already softening toward dawn, another quiet truth settles in the heart. No night lasts forever. Even the longest night, the most restless mind, the deepest uncertainty all pass with time. Just as breath flows, seasons turn, tides rise and fall, so too does this night move through its own gentle arc. This too shall pass, not as a platitude, but as a lived truth, one you have already begun to feel. Perhaps the clock has turned unnoticed. Perhaps the body, though still awake, has softened. Perhaps the mind, though still moving, has lost much of its grip. And in this space, a quiet trust grows. You do not need to force the night to end. You do not need to pull the dawn toward you. It will come, in its own time, as it always has. And between now and then, you are free to rest in what is dark, breath by breath, moment by moment. The heart of this practice, this whole night's journey, has not been about chasing sleep, but about awakening to presence. And in this, you have already succeeded. You have met wakefulness with kindness. You have softened the grip of striving. You have opened to the impermanence of all things. You have tasted the spaciousness of awareness. You have walked the middle way through this long, quiet night. And now, as the hours turn, whether sleep comes or not, you rest in a new way, not defined by whether the body sleeps, but by how the heart meets the moment. And this, dear friend, is a profound freedom, one you can carry with you into the coming day and into all the nights yet to be. For life, like this night, will bring moments of ease and moments of challenge, moments of light and moments of darkness. But you, having practiced here, having touched this space of presence, will know how to meet them with kindness, with openness, with the deep trust that all things arise and pass. And as you lie here now, perhaps drifting towards sleep, perhaps simply resting in wakefulness, you can hold this truth gently in the heart. I am okay. This moment is enough. This night will pass, as all things do. And in this knowing, the body may soften a little more, the breath may deepen, the mind may grow quieter, or not. And even that is okay, for the true gift of this night is already here. A heart more open, a presence more grounded, a spirit more free. And as dawn approaches in minutes, in hours, whenever it may, you can greet it, not as an escape from this night, but as a continuation of this same presence for day and night, sleep and wakefulness, joy and sorrow, all are waves upon the great ocean of being. And you, dear friend, are learning to rest as the ocean itself, vast, deep, at peace. So breathe now, softly, rest now, gently, and remember, no night is endless, and the dawn, like the next breath, is already on its way.